What's up, guys? So I want to talk a little bit about Predecessor, right? And I want to clear the air on a couple things because I consistently am getting community members coming over to my channel saying certain things or like, oh, this is confirmed, that's confirmed, etc. I want to clear the air on some of the stuff that has been shown, right? Now, the first thing that I want to throw out there is now for about 2 months, Predecessor has not said anything to us as a community, at least not officially, right? We got the whole new UI vibe, did a video about that before. You're welcome to check that out. Before that, they also, they mentioned back in like early January, the Drongo was in there. They mentioned about the Epic grant. We're going to talk about that in a second. They mentioned about their seed of funding as well. But also they mentioned Epic Games Store. Now, just a couple things to clear up, and I guess let me just kind of make a list and go down it, right? So the first thing is Predecessor, give us something, bruh. Give us something. Like, I understand about 2 months ago, you gave us the new UI. And I understand that there's been little teasers here and there. Like, a lot of people are assuming that Kalari's going to be the next one to join the game because whenever the community poll was made, Kalari was voted very highly. If I'm not mistaken, she actually won. So a lot of people are assuming it's like, yo, confirm next character, even though it hasn't officially been confirmed. Because who knows if they were working on a different character before Kalari, right? That just means Kalari will have priority, not necessarily next. Clear that up. Moving forward, a lot of people were assuming that Rampage is going to be the next character. Why? Because when you go to the Predecessor website and you go to the jungle role, because in their website you can click on the arrows left and right and it'll show different characters, different roles. When you go to jungle, Rampage shows up in a picture. Now, granted, I can see why people might think like, yo, that's a little hint. That means Rampage is coming. I sure hope so. But at least as far as we're concerned, that's speculation. They have the role of jungle, and one of the most common iconic junglers for Paragon is there. That's just making a website low key. Now, granted, it wouldn't make sense if they put a picture of a character they don't have. So we can only hope, but so far it's only speculation, right? Now let's clear up about this Epic grant, because I do want to make sure that the air is clear. I literally just read a YouTube comment that says Epic is now an official investor. Not true. Let me explain to you guys what the Epic Mega Grant was. Now, Epic Mega Grant, basically any project that's working on the Unreal Engine qualifies for an Epic Mega Grant. With the Epic Mega Grant, you can actually submit, and I got it right in front of here actually, you can actually submit for funding, that you're requesting some funding. You can actually get software out of them. You can get hardware out of them as well. Like they'll send you an AMD Ryzen 7 3800X if you request for it, just because the whole purpose of the Epic Mega Grant is to help their game engine look better, perform better. And if somebody's working on a game and they request hardware, they're like, bro, of course we're gonna throw out $300 for this hardware. Of course we're gonna do a mega grant. Be like, yo, there's thousands of games that got the mega grant, anywhere from, I believe it was anywhere between 10,000 to 500,000. The amount was never disclosed. For all we know, Predecessor only got 10,000. Or they could have got the 500,000 from them. But regardless, it is a no strings attached transaction. They do not have to pay that money back. They are not tied to Epic whatsoever with that move. That just simply means Epic is giving projects that are going to make their engine look better a little bit of support. Because Epic makes way more money in the back end. Now, if you didn't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. Let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about being on the Epic Store, because in that update as well, they did very clearly mention, and very smart marketing, might I add, they mentioned we are planning on Predecessor release to be cross-platform. Everybody lost their mind. Cross-platform is amazing. Setting up the infrastructure for cross-platform is really, really good. But I do understand that the majority of viewers, the majority of consumers, they hear cross-platform and they think PlayStation automatically. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not working on PlayStation, but I want to clear the air. Did you guys know that there are multiple gaming platforms on PC? Steam is a gaming platform on PC. Epic Game Store is a gaming platform on PC. Battle.net, Origin, etc. Those are all gaming platforms. They already are on Steam. On this post, they mentioned they're going to be on the Epic Game Store. Cross-platform literally means you can play with the people on Steam while you're on Epic and vice versa. Those are the only ones that have been confirmed for release. Now, this infrastructure again opens up the door so when they do go to console, then the cross-platform infrastructure is already there, and that's one less check mark they can erase off the board because it's already done. It's a good news that they're putting cross-platform implementation already, but it does not mean that on release they're going to be on console. That just simply means there will be more than one platform, and we already have two confirmed, Steam and Epic. Just clearing out the air, cross-platform does not mean cross-console. There is a big difference between those two. Now, I just wanted to make this video really quick because there's just a lot of misconception about certain terminology, like, oh, you know, Predecessor has to pay back Epic. They do not. Honestly, the biggest news for me, again, we made a video about this when the news got announced, but the biggest piece of information for me is their funding. They mentioned that they did their seed round. They raised, if I'm not mistaken, what was it, over 2 million in their seed round. Let me pull it up right here. Yep, 2.2 million. So that's a good amount of funding. But a lot of people also don't realize that a Predecessor, along with any other game, is going to need a lot more than 2.2 million, because you got to be mindful. Like, at the end of the day, let's say a programmer, average programmer, depending where you live, can range in crazy amounts, $40,000 to like $120,000 a year, right? Let's just go on a basic side. Let's say like 50,000 per programmer, right? And assuming that Smokey isn't even paying himself, right? If you're looking at 50,000 for the year, okay, let's just say they got 5 programmers, right? Off rip, that's already 250,000 out the fucking door just for 5 people. And I know for a fact that their general team includes more than 5 people. Now, granted, this money is going to help not only pay for the staff, it's going to help pay for marketing, it's going to help pay for assets, it's going to help pay for outsourced the actual assets, you know, whether it's outsourced audio or sourced, you know, map particle, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But my point is, the best news is this 2.2 million. Because it's a step in the right direction. They're gonna need all that funding, but again, quite frankly, they're gonna need a lot more money to continue, and that's why it's a seed round. It's the initial round of investment when the project is still in its proof of concept phase, which technically they already proved the concept through the alpha, but in order to be a successful game, they're gonna have to prove more, right? So Predecessor is now in the stage that they have to put up or shut up. Now, with this initial 2.2, they're damn well gonna make sure that they put every little bit of it to good use. And I have all faith that Ace and Smokey and all of them over there, they're managing this money very, very wisely, and arguably probably putting in some of their own money on top of that, as Smokey's been doing all along, in order to help get the game to where it's got to go. And again, that means the release with the cross-platform, making sure everything runs smooth, making sure there's proper marketing in place, whether it be on a Steam front page, whether it be on an Epic front page, whether it be YouTube advertising, content creator advertising, etc. I can imagine that they're going to be doing a hard push with incentives in certain areas in order to maximize their revenue and whatnot. Now, of course, as well, running a server isn't running a server isn't cheap. So server costs for a certain duration, more than likely a year or so, have to be accounted for within that initial seed round. Now, that's under the assumption that the seed round was under the terms of just, you know, like a year to provide performance, because usually a fiscal year is how it goes. But who knows? Maybe they're like, hey, 2.2, we'll give you 2 years. Let us know what you can do. Or 2.2, you got 6 months to show us better results. It's a whole nother ballpark whenever you enter the realm of investors and whenever you have other people to report to. I don't know what percentage these investors control. 2.2 million is a good amount, but considering it's technically like an intellectual property that I'm not 100% sure if they own, it might just quite frankly come down to the investors might own like 2.2 million, might have only raised, I mean, quite frankly, considering a game, maybe they valued it at like 10 million, considering the popularity and the potential and everything. In that case, giving out 2.2 million, they give around 20% of their company away. Quite possible. I know that the main founders are A, Smokey, Fringe. I don't know if anybody else is, quite frankly. I haven't looked up on it. But it's the thing also that the more investors put in, the more it dilutes the control that the original founders have. And it's a tough balance, because they have to, like, if they want more money, they either have to raise it themselves or they have to lean towards investors. And an investor will be like, all right, bet, I'll give you guys another million if you give me another 13%. And slowly but surely that can get very, very dangerous when it comes down to decision making, etc. The last thing you want is for somebody to own majority stake in your game, have majority control in your game. And if they want to do something, it's like, hey man, I'm gonna be real with you. I can't argue against them. I own 23%. He owns 34%. At the end of the day, his opinion weighs more than mine because he owns more of the company than I do. Now, the problem is if Mr. 34% partners up with another 20%, now they both, between the two of them, own 54% of the company. They could shut down this game if they want to, because majority says shut it down now. We're not investing anymore. It's a dangerous game to go into, but the funding is really good. I don't doubt the leadership, and I don't doubt the potential that Predecessor has. Right? I just know that going through this door is a very dangerous door. Investors are low key sometimes the reason why a project blows the fuck up and turns into a multi-million dollar, hell, like Predecessor could low key end up being a fucking $50 million game or even more easily. But at the end of the day, it could also flop within a year or two because they didn't provide results soon enough. Because at the end of the day, no investor is going to be like, hey, take my $2 million. Thank you for the $10,000 a year for the next 5 years. Hell no, that's a horrible decision. That's a horrible return on investment as an investor. So it opens up the door a lot. I'd love to hear down in the comments below what you guys think about everything that I said, specifically about the investment part. Let me know. Thank you guys for watching. If you do enjoy the content, please remember, like the video. It helps this video get shared to others. We're still growing our fan base over here. And also, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe so I can get my content out to you faster. As always, till the next video.